On July 14th, 2024, at my own dinner table in my own house, my son-in-law looked me dead in the eye and said, "Be grateful we tolerate you. Now go to your room. Adults are talking." I'm Monica Grace. I'm 62 years old. I didn't cry. I didn't argue. I looked at my daughter, my only child, waiting for her to say something. Anything. She stared at her plate like it was the most interesting thing in the world. I stood up, walked to my front door, and made a phone call that changed everything. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning, because you need to understand how a woman can become invisible in her own home. How it happens so slowly, you don't even realize you're disappearing until one day you look in the mirror, and you're gone. If you're listening from somewhere far away, drop your city in the comments, so I can see how far this has traveled. And please, stay with me until the end. My name is Monica Elaine Grace. I was born in Oakland, California, in 1962. My grandmother raised me after my mama passed when I was 7. Grandma Essie taught me 2 things: how to make cornbread that makes people weep, and how to never let anyone make you small in your own house. I wish I'd remembered that second lesson sooner. The kitchen clock read 4:17 p.m. when I started on the collard greens. Sacramento in July is like standing in front of an open oven. Even with the AC running, sweat was already beading on my forehead as I washed the greens in my sink. The same sink my late husband Marcus had installed in 1997, saying, "Monica, you're going to cook miracles in this kitchen. You need a proper sink for it." Marcus had been gone 4 years, 2 months, and 6 days. But I still heard his voice every time I stood at this counter. I had chicken marinating in buttermilk, mac and cheese waiting to go in the oven, cornbread batter sitting in my grandmother's yellow mixing bowl, the one she'd carried from Georgia in 1963. I was making enough food for 12 people, even though Tyler had only told me yesterday we were having a few people over. Not asked. Told. My hands moved through the motions, stemming greens, dicing onions, measuring out seasonings, while my arthritis sent little lightning bolts of pain up my wrists. I'd been cooking since I was tall enough to reach the stove. Some days I loved it. Today, it felt like I was preparing a feast for people who'd forgotten I existed. The house was quiet except for the sound of the television upstairs. Tyler and my daughter Diane were in what used to be Marcus's office, what Tyler now called our bedroom. I could hear them laughing at something on the screen. Nobody had come downstairs to ask if I needed help. Nobody had come downstairs at all. I looked around my kitchen. Really looked at it. The curtains I'd sewn in 2015. The little herb garden on the windowsill that I watered every morning. The photo of Marcus and me at Lake Tahoe. His arm around my shoulders. Both of us grinning like we'd won the lottery. We'd bought this house in 1995 for $187,000. It was worth probably close to $650,000 now, though I'd never had it officially appraised. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath California bungalow in Land Park, one of Sacramento's nicest neighborhoods. We'd painted every wall ourselves, refinished the hardwood floors on our hands and knees, planted the Japanese maple in the front yard for our 10th anniversary. This house was mine. Legally, financially, emotionally, mine. So when did I start feeling like a guest in it? I wiped my hands on my apron, the one that said Grandma's Kitchen that Diane had given me 6 years ago, back when she still called me Mama, and walked to the bottom of the stairs. "Diane?" I called up. "Honey, you said Tyler's friends are coming at 6? Silence. "Diane?" The TV volume went down slightly. "Yeah, Ma, 6 o'clock. How many people should I expect?" A pause, then Tyler's voice, not Diane's. "Not sure, Monica. Maybe 8, 10, just make enough for everyone." Just make enough for everyone. Like I was the caterer, not the woman who owned the house. I closed my eyes and counted to 5. It was a trick my therapist had taught me during grief counseling after Marcus died. Count to 5, breathe, decide if this is worth the fight. It wasn't. It never was. "Okay," I said. "I'll make plenty." Nobody said thank you. I went back to my kitchen and pulled out 2 more packages of chicken from the freezer. 3 years earlier, I'd been outside watering my roses when my phone rang. It was a Saturday morning, and the garden was my sanctuary. Marcus had died 8 months before. Sudden heart attack, gone before the paramedics arrived, and the roses were the only thing that made me feel close to him. He'd planted them for our 25th anniversary. "A rose for every year," he'd said, "and I'll plant more every year until we're old and gray." We never made it to Old and Gray. My phone lit up with Diane's name. I set down the hose and answered, already smiling. My daughter called me every Saturday morning like clockwork. "Hey baby girl, how's..." She was crying before I could finish. "Mama," her voice was broken, wrecked. "Mama, we need help." I sat down on the porch steps, my heart hammering. "What's wrong? Are you hurt? Is it Jasmine?" "No, we're okay physically. Mama, Tyler's business collapsed. Everything's gone." Sterling Construction, Tyler's company. He'd started it 5 years ago, and for a while it had been doing well. Good enough that they'd bought a house in Elk Grove, a nice 4-bedroom with a pool. Good enough that Diane had quit her job as a dental hygienist to help with the books. "What do you mean, gone?" Diane's words tumbled out in a rush. "There was a lawsuit, a big commercial job. Something went wrong, the client sued, and then the insurance didn't cover everything. And then we found out Tyler's partner had been taking money and now it's all... Mama, they're foreclosing on our house. We have 30 days. We don't have anywhere to go." My chest tightened. "What about Tyler's family?" "His mom's in Arizona in a 1-bedroom apartment. His sister won't even return his calls." "Mama, I know it's a lot to ask, but..." "Come home," I said immediately. "You and Tyler and Jasmine. Come home. You can stay as long as you need." The relief in her voice was palpable. "Are you sure? I don't want to..." "You're my daughter. This is your home. Of course I'm sure." She was crying again, but differently. Thank you, Mama. We'll get back on our feet, I promise. Just a few months, maybe 6, and then we'll..." "Don't worry about that now. Just come home." When I hung up, I stood in my garden looking at my house. It was going to be good to have people in it again. Good to have life and noise and my granddaughter's laughter filling up the rooms that had been too quiet since Marcus died. I remember thinking, maybe this is why I've been so lonely. Maybe God's bringing my family home so we can heal together. I remember thinking it was going to be temporary. 3 years. That's how long temporary lasted. They arrived on a Tuesday in July the 6th. I remember because it was Marcus's birthday. He would have been 65. Tyler pulled up in a U-Haul truck with their Honda following behind, driven by Diane. I watched from the window as Tyler got out, all 6'2" of him, still built like the Marine he'd been in his 20s. Even defeated, he moved with that military bearing. Shoulders back, jaw set. He'd served 2 tours in Afghanistan. Came back with medals and nightmares. I'd always felt for him because of that. War changes people. And Tyler had clearly seen things no person should see. Diane looked exhausted. Her hair, usually perfectly straightened and styled, was pulled back in a messy ponytail. No makeup. She'd lost weight. I could tell even from a distance. And then Jasmine climbed out of the back seat. 12 years old, tall for her age, with her daddy's height and her mama's eyes. My grandbaby. I met them at the door with a smile. "Welcome home." Diane fell into my arms and cried. Just stood there in the doorway and sobbed like a little girl. I held her tight, rubbing her back the way I'd done when she was small and had nightmares. Tyler shook my hand. His grip was firm, almost too firm. "Miss Grace, I can't tell you how much we appreciate this. It's temporary. I've got some leads on jobs and I'm going to rebuild the business, and we'll be out of your hair before you know it." "Take your time," I said. "Family helps family." Jasmine hugged me around the waist. "I missed you, Grandma." "Missed you too, baby. I made your favorite for dinner. Macaroni and cheese with the breadcrumbs on top." Her face lit up, the first genuine smile I'd seen from any of them. We spent that evening unloading the U-Haul. They didn't have much. A lot of their furniture had been sold to pay debts. What they had left fit in the 2 spare bedrooms in the garage. That night we ate dinner together at my table. I'd made a roast chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, comfort food. We talked and laughed, and for the first time since Marcus died, the house felt alive again. Diane squeezed my hand. "Thank you, Mama. You're saving our lives." Tyler raised his glass of sweet tea. "To Ms. Grace, to family, to fresh starts." We clinked glasses. I should have noticed that he called me Ms. Grace, not Mama, not Mom, not even Monica at that point. I should have noticed a lot of things. Month 1. That first month they were grateful. Diane helped with dishes. Tyler fixed a leaky faucet in the hall bathroom, something I'd been meaning to call a plumber for. Jasmine set the table without being asked. We fell into a routine. I cooked breakfast, Diane cleaned up. I did laundry on Tuesdays, Diane folded. Tyler mowed the lawn every Saturday morning. It felt good. It felt right. Tyler had job interviews. 3 the first week, 2 the second. Each time he came home, his face was a little more drawn, his shoulders a little more slumped. They say I'm overqualified, he told us at dinner one night. Or they want someone younger. Or they've already filled the position. Diane reached across the table and squeezed his hand. Something will come through. I said, don't give up. The right opportunity will come. He looked at me with something I couldn't quite read in his eyes. Yeah. Thanks, Ms. Grace. Month 3, that's when Tyler came to me about the creditors. I was in the garden again, always the garden, when he found me. He stood with his hands in his pockets looking uncomfortable. Ms. Grace, can I talk to you about something? Of course. What's on your mind? He sat down on the porch steps. We got a letter from the lawyers, the ones handling the business bankruptcy. They're saying we still owe $35,000 to creditors that weren't covered in the filing. If we don't pay, they'll garnish Diane's wages when she finds work. They might even come after you since we're living here. My stomach dropped. Can they do that? I don't know. Maybe. I don't want to risk it. He looked at me directly. I hate to ask this. I hate it. But is there any way you could help us with this? We'd pay you back. Every cent. I'm starting to get some contract work lined up, small jobs, and once I get the money coming in, how much do you need? $35,000. I know it's a lot. I held up my hand. Let me check my accounts. Marcus left me comfortable. I can do it. The relief on his face was genuine. Ms. Grace, I can't tell you what this means. We'll pay you back. I promise. Within 2 years with interest. Family doesn't charge family interest. Then we'll pay you back the principal. I'll write up an IOU. Make it official. That's not necessary. I trust you. He stood and shook my hand again. You're saving our lives. Again. The next day I went to my bank and withdrew $35,000 from my savings account. Marcus had left me $347,000 in savings, plus the house paid off, plus his life insurance, plus my own retirement from Morrison Healthcare Solutions. I'd been the marketing director there for 18 years before I retired in 2020. We were comfortable. $35,000 was a lot, but we could spare it. I wrote the check to Tyler Sterling on September 17, 2021. I took a photo of it with my phone. Old insurance habits die hard. Marcus had always said, document everything, Monica. Paper trail is your best friend. Tyler took the check and hugged me. Actually hugged me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Diane cried when he told her. She came to my room that night and sat on my bed like she used to when she was little. Mama, I don't know how to thank you. You don't have to thank me, baby. That's what family is for. We'll pay you back. Every penny. I know you will. She hugged me goodnight. That was the last time she called me Mama for a while. Month 6, Christmas came, and I'd bought presents for everyone. A new drill set for Tyler. He'd mentioned his old tools were in storage. A beautiful silk scarf for Diane. A laptop for Jasmine for school. They'd gotten me a candle from Target. I saw the price sticker still on the bottom when I unwrapped it. $8.99. Thanks, I said, smiling. It smells lovely. Tyler was on his phone. Diane was watching Jasmine open her gifts. Nobody seemed to notice that I'd spent $450 on presents for them, and they'd spent $8.99 on me. That evening I was making Christmas dinner, ham, candied yams, collard greens, cornbread, sweet potato pie, when Tyler walked through the kitchen with his friend Brandon. Nice place, man, Brandon was saying. You've really fixed it up. Yeah, we're making it work, Tyler said. Planning to redo the living room after New Year's. Update the furniture. Get rid of some of this dated stuff. I froze at the stove. Dated stuff? The furniture Marcus and I had picked out together? But I said nothing. Stirred my greens. Kept my mouth shut. Month 12. A year in, and the dynamic had shifted completely. Tyler had found some contract work. Small construction jobs, cash under the table. He was bringing in maybe $800 a month, but it was sporadic. Diane had gotten a part-time job at a dental office, 20 hours a week, $16 an hour. I was still paying for groceries. Utilities, internet, Netflix, everything. One evening in June I was watching the news when Tyler came in and took the remote from my hand. Do you mind? Game's about to start. Not are you watching this? Not can I change the channel? Just took the remote and changed it. I was watching. This'll just be a couple hours. I stood up and went to my bedroom. The next morning I found Tyler in my office, Marcus's old office, going through the filing cabinet. What are you doing? He didn't even look guilty. Looking for the property tax bill. I wanted to see if there's any way to appeal the assessed value, maybe get it lowered. That's my personal paperwork. We live here too, Monica. It affects all of us. Monica. Not Ms. Grace anymore, just Monica. Please don't go through my things without asking. He shrugged. Sure, no problem. But the next week, I caught him in there again. Month 18, the second Christmas. Tyler invited people over without telling me. 8 of his friends showed up for dinner. I'd made enough food for 6, the 4 of us plus maybe Diane's friend Rebecca and her husband. Instead, there were 12 people in my living room. Monica, can we get some more chairs from the garage? Tyler asked. Monica, do you have any beer? Brandon asked. Monica, where's the bathroom? Someone I'd never met. I was Monica now. The cook, the maid, the invisible woman who made things appear when needed. And Diane? Diane played hostess, laughed with Tyler's friends, brought out my good china, the set my grandmother had given me, without asking. I stayed in the kitchen most of the night. Jasmine found me there, washing dishes. Grandma, why don't you come out and visit? I'm tired, baby. You go have fun. She hugged me around the waist. Grandma, why don't you tell them? Tell them what? That this is your house, that they're your guests, that Dad should ask before inviting people. Smart girl. 13 years old, and she saw what her parents had stopped seeing. Sometimes, baby, you let people show you who they really are. Then you decide what to do about it. Month 24. 2 years in, and I'd given them another $12,000 in March for Tyler to restart his business. Then $8,000 in May for Diane's car repair. Then $6,000 in June for Jasmine's summer camp, the fancy one she wanted to attend. I kept a notebook. Old habits, every dollar documented. Running total so far, $61,000 in direct payments, plus approximately $12,000 in living expenses I'd been covering. About $73,000 total. Not that anyone had mentioned paying me back. One evening I overheard Diane on the phone in the hallway. Yeah, we're still living with Mom. It's fine, it's just, I miss having our own space, you know? Our own privacy. Having to share the living room. Having her always there. Always there. In my own house, I was always there. Month 30, Tyler started talking about renovations like it was his house. We should knock out this wall between the kitchen and dining room. Open it up. We should replace the carpet in the living room. This is pretty worn. We need to modernize the master bath. That tile is from the 90s. We should. I started spending more time in my bedroom, reading, watching TV on my laptop, staying out of the way. One Sunday I came downstairs at 11 a.m. I'd slept in, something I rarely did, and found Tyler making pancakes. Morning, Monica. We already ate, but there's some left if you want. We already ate. The family had breakfast without me. No thanks, I'll just have coffee. We're out of coffee. Diane's going to the store later. I'd bought the coffee 3 days ago. A whole container. I went back upstairs. Month 36, 3 years. And now Tyler was having a dinner party. In my house. With my food. At my table. I'd spent $200 on groceries. I'd been cooking since 4 p.m. My arthritis was screaming. And any minute now, Tyler's friends were going to walk through my front door like they owned the place. I pulled the cornbread from the oven and set it on the cooling rack. Upstairs I could hear Tyler getting ready. The shower running, Diane's hairdryer. Nobody had come down to say thank you. Nobody had even come down to see if I was okay. I looked at my reflection in the window over the sink. A 62-year-old black woman with gray in her hair and lines around her eyes. Still strong. Still standing. But somehow, faded. When had I disappeared? When had I become invisible in my own home? I didn't know it yet, but in about 2 hours, I was going to find out exactly how invisible I'd become. And I was going to do something about it. Monday, July 8th. That was the day Tyler told me about the dinner. I was folding laundry when he came into the living room. Hey Monica, we're having some people over on Saturday. For dinner. Not asking. Telling. How many people? I don't know, 6 or 8. My crew from the old Marine unit, Brandon, Deshawn, couple others, with their wives. Saturday is the 14th, yeah, I know. Is that a problem? Was it a problem? In what universe did I have the right to say whether I could have guests in my own home? No, no problem. I'll cook. Thanks, appreciate it. He turned to leave. Tyler? Yeah? What should I make? He shrugged. I don't know. Soul food? Isn't that your thing? My thing. Like I was a restaurant, not a person. Sure, I'll make soul food. I went grocery shopping with Jasmine. Just the two of us, which was rare these days. She was 15 now, tall and beautiful, her hair in braids I'd taught her to do herself. At Safeway, I filled the cart. Chicken, collard greens, cornbread mix, cheese for the mac and cheese, sweet potatoes, butter, milk. Everything I'd need. Grandma, why do you let Dad talk to you like that? I was reaching for a package of chicken breasts. Like what, baby? Like you're not… I don't know, like this isn't your house. I put the chicken in the cart and looked at my granddaughter. What do you mean? He tells you what to do. He has people over without really asking. He changes what you're watching on TV. He goes through your stuff. She paused. Mom doesn't stop him. Smart girl. Sees everything. Your daddy's been through a lot, Jasmine. The war, the business failing. Sometimes people act out when they're hurting. That doesn't make it okay. No, it didn't. What would you do, Grandma? If it was you? I squeezed her hand. Sometimes, baby, you let people show you who they really are. You be patient, you watch, and then, when you've seen enough, you act. Have you seen enough? I didn't answer that. Just moved on to the produce section. But the truth was, I had seen enough. I just hadn't decided what to do about it yet. That night I couldn't sleep. Through the wall I could hear Tyler and Diane arguing. The walls in this house weren't thick enough to hide anything. Tyler's voice loud and angry. Your mother needs to be more respectful of boundaries. She lets us live here for free, Tyler. For free? We contribute. I fix the sink, I mow the lawn, that's worth something. You fixed one sink 3 years ago. That's not the point. The point is she treats this like it's her house. It is her house. Silence. Then Tyler again, lower. Fine. It's her house. But we've been here 3 years. At what point does it become our house too? We have rights, Diane. Tenant rights. Tenant rights. Like I was a landlord. She's my mother. She took us in when we had nothing. And she's never let us forget it, has she? Always making us feel like we owe her. Like we're charity cases. I sat up in bed, my heart pounding. I'd never once, not once, made them feel like charity cases. I'd given them money, a home, food, everything, and never asked for a single thing back. And this was how he talked about me. Diane's response was quieter. I couldn't hear her exact words, but I heard Tyler's next line clearly. After this dinner party, we need to have a serious conversation with her about boundaries. She needs to understand this is our home now too. I lay back down in the dark, staring at the ceiling. Marcus's voice in my head, clear as day. Never let anyone make you small in your own home, Monica. I'd let them make me small. For 3 years I'd gotten smaller and smaller until I was practically invisible. But I wasn't gone yet. And maybe, just maybe, it was time to remind everyone whose house this was. Saturday, July 14th, 5:30 p.m. I'd been cooking for an hour and a half when the doorbell rang. Through the kitchen doorway, I saw Tyler answer it. Brandon first, big guy, loud voice slapping Tyler on the back. Then Deshawn with his wife Keisha. Then Ashley, Brandon's girlfriend, dressed like she was going to a nightclub, not a dinner party in Land Park. Tyler was hugging them, showing them around. Come in, welcome. Welcome to my house. I stayed in the kitchen, pulling the chicken from the oven. Golden and perfect, just like Grandma Essie taught me. Brandon's voice. Man, nice place. You've really done well for yourself. Tyler's laugh. Yeah, we've made it work. Diane and I have been doing some improvements, planning to renovate the bathroom next. I gripped the edge of the counter. We've been doing improvements. We're planning. Not this is Monica's house, not we're grateful to her. Just we. More people arrived. By 6 o'clock there were 10 people in my living room, laughing, drinking, taking up space. Diane floated through like a hostess, offering drinks, chatting with the wives. Nobody came to the kitchen to check on me. Nobody asked if I needed help. I loaded everything onto platters: chicken, mac and cheese, collard greens, candied yams, cornbread. Set it all on the dining room table, the table Marcus and I bought in 1998, refinished in 2010, eaten 1,000 meals at. The guests noticed the food, not me. "Oh wow, this looks amazing. Somebody can cook." Tyler accepted the compliment with a modest nod. "Yeah, we wanted to do it right for you guys. We did." I stood in the kitchen doorway, holding an empty platter, and watched them fill my table. Watched Tyler sit at the head, where Marcus used to sit. Watched Diane sit to his right, where I used to sit. Watched strangers fill every other seat. 10 seats, 10 people. No place for me. And that's when I realized. This wasn't an accident. This was deliberate. They hadn't forgotten to set me a place. They hadn't wanted me at the table. I took a breath, counted to 5. Then I walked forward, through the dining room, toward the one empty chair at the far end. Every eye turned to watch me. I reached for the chair back. And that's when Tyler spoke. I reached for the chair back at the far end of the table. My fingers closed around the smooth wood. Oak, refinished by Marcus in 2010. I remembered the weekend we'd spent sanding and staining every piece. The chair scraped against the hardwood floor I'd mopped that morning. Every conversation in the room died. Forks paused halfway to mouths. Wine glasses stopped midair. 10 faces turned toward me like I'd just walked into the room naked. I was lowering myself to sit when Tyler's palms slammed flat against the table. The impact made the wine glasses jump. Ashley's hand flew to her chest. The salt shaker fell over, white grains spilling across the tablecloth. Tyler rocketed upward, his chair screeching behind him. "What are you doing?" His voice wasn't loud. That was almost worse. It was cold, flat, like I was a stranger who'd wandered in off the street. I straightened, half standing, half sitting, frozen in an awkward crouch. "I'm sitting down for dinner." "This seat's taken." He pointed at me like I was a dog that needed correcting. "Brandon's sitting there." I looked at Brandon. Brandon looked at his plate. "Tyler, this is my seat, at my table." The words came out quiet but clear. Around the table, I watched reactions bloom in slow motion. Deshawn's eyes went wide. Keisha's hand covered her mouth. Ashley looked from Tyler to me and back again, her expression shifting from confusion to something like horror. Diane stared at her plate like it held the secrets of the universe. Tyler's face flushed from pale to pink to dark red in the span of 3 seconds. A vein I'd never noticed before pulsed in his temple. "Your table?" He laughed. Actually laughed, harsh and sharp. "Your seat?" "Tyler." Diane's voice was barely a whisper. "No." Tyler held up his hand, cutting her off. He leaned forward, both palms still flat on my grandmother's tablecloth. "Let me make something very clear to everyone here." He looked around the table, making eye contact with each guest. Plain to the audience. "This woman," he gestured at me without looking at me, "seems to be confused about the situation here." My heart was hammering so hard I could feel it in my throat. "Tyler, please." Diane tried again. "Diane, not now." His voice had edges sharp enough to cut. "This needs to be said." He turned to me fully. We were 10 feet apart, the length of the table between us, but I could see every detail of his face. The anger, the contempt, the absolute certainty that he was right. "Monica, you need to understand something. We live here. This is our home now. You're here because we tolerate you." The room went so silent I could hear someone's watch ticking. "We tolerate you," he repeated, like I hadn't heard him the first time. "We let you stay here, in the house where we live, because Diane feels sorry for you. Because you're old and alone and you have nowhere else to go." I heard a small sound, realized it was Jasmine, crying quietly. Tyler wasn't done. "But that doesn't give you the right to interrupt our dinner party. Our guests. Our table." He pointed toward the kitchen. "Now you can either go back to the kitchen where you belong, or better yet, why don't you take a walk? Give us some space. Let the adults have their dinner in peace." Where you belong. Let the adults have their dinner. Those words hung in the air like smoke. I didn't move. Couldn't move. My hands were still on the chair back, knuckles white. Deshawn shifted in his seat. Man, Tyler, I don't think. Deshawn, this doesn't concern you. Tyler's eyes never left mine. This is a family matter. But Grandma, Jasmine's voice broke. Jasmine, be quiet, Tyler snapped. This doesn't involve you either. I looked at my daughter, really looked at her. Diane's eyes were closed, not looking at me, not looking at Tyler, not looking at her daughter crying. Just absent. The betrayal of it hit me like a physical blow. I'd raised this woman, stayed up nights when she had colic, taught her to read, walked her to her first day of school, paid for her college, danced at her wedding, held her hand when Jasmine was born, and she couldn't even look at me, couldn't say one word in my defense. In that moment, something inside me broke. Not my spirit, not my strength, my patience. I thought of Marcus, heard his voice clear as day. Never let anyone make you small in your own home, Monica. I'd been small for 3 years, invisible for 3 years, tolerating the intolerable for 3 years. I was done. I straightened fully, removed my hands from the chair, stood tall, and I turned my back on all of them. Walked out of the dining room, through the living room, straight to the front door. Behind me, I heard Tyler's voice, triumphant. See, she gets it. She knows her place. Now where were we? Brandon, sit wherever you want. The sound of chairs scraping, conversation resuming. Laughter, slightly forced, but there. They thought I was leaving. They thought I was retreating, embarrassed, defeated. I opened the front door. July evening air rushed in, still warm at 6:47 p.m. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. Mrs. Chen from next door was watering her roses. Normal suburban Saturday. I didn't step outside. I turned to face the room. Tyler had his back to me, pouring wine for Ashley. Diane was passing the cornbread. Brandon was cutting into a piece of chicken. Only Deshawn was watching me. Our eyes met. He knew. I spoke clearly, loudly enough to carry through both rooms. Everyone who is currently in this house and is not its legal owner has 5 minutes to leave. This is my house. I bought it in 1995 with my late husband, Marcus Theodore Grace, Tyler Sterling, Diane Sterling, and all guests. You have 5 minutes to exit my property, starting now. The chicken fell off Brandon's fork. Tyler spun around so fast his chair nearly tipped. What did you just say? You heard me. 5 minutes. Get out of my house. You're joking. Tyler's laugh was different now, uncertain. You're seriously? I'm completely serious. This is my house. My name is on the deed. I pay every bill. You are guests who have overstayed your welcome. Leave, now. Keisha was already standing, grabbing her purse. Deshawn, come on, we should go. No. Tyler held up his hands. No, sit down. Everyone sit down. She's bluffing. Ignore her. But the guests were moving. Ashley stood, smoothing her dress. Brandon pushed back from the table. Tyler, man, we're just gonna... Brandon gestured vaguely toward the door. Brandon, sit down. Tyler's voice rose. This is ridiculous. She can't just kick everyone out. Bro, it's her house. Deshawn said it quietly but firmly. We gotta go. They were filing past me within 90 seconds. Ashley wouldn't make eye contact. Brandon mumbled thanks for dinner without looking at me. Keisha touched my arm gently as she passed. I'm sorry, she whispered. Deshawn stopped in the doorway, looked back at Tyler. Man, call me tomorrow. We'll figure this out. But his eyes said, you messed up. Then they were gone. All of them. 30 seconds of awkward shuffling, and my living room was empty of strangers. Just Tyler, Diane, Jasmine, and me. The door stood open. Summer evening sounds drifted in. A dog barking. Children playing down the street. A car passing. Tyler stood in my dining room, face purple now, hands clenched into fists at his sides. You humiliated me, he said, voice shaking. You just humiliated me in front of my friends. You humiliated yourself, I said. Now pack your things and leave my house. We're not going anywhere. He took a step toward me. We live here. We have rights. You can't just... I pulled my cell phone from my pocket. Tyler froze. Then I'm calling the police. You wouldn't. But his voice cracked on the last word. I unlocked my phone, opened the keypad, pressed 9. Monica, wait, pressed 1. Stop, pressed 1 again. The phone began to ring. Tyler's face went from purple to white faster than I would have thought possible. Diane, tell her to stop. Diane had both hands over her mouth, tears streaming down her face. The line clicked. 911, what's your emergency? The operator's voice was professional, calm, female, middle-aged, I guessed. Tyler was staring at me like I'd pulled a gun, not a phone. Yes, hello. My name is Monica Elaine Grace. I need assistance, please. My voice was steady, calmer than I felt. I have people in my home who are refusing to leave after I've asked them to depart. Ma'am, are you in immediate danger? Are the individuals threatening you? No immediate physical danger, but they are refusing to leave my property. I am the sole legal owner of this residence. They are family members who have been staying here temporarily, and I have now asked them to leave. Tyler started laughing. Not nervous laughter this time. Genuine mocking laughter. The old woman's lost her mind. This is insane. Diane, tell her to hang up. Diane said nothing, just stood there, frozen. The operator continued. What's the address, ma'am? 2847 Maple Grove Drive, Sacramento, Land Park District, 95818. Officers are being dispatched. Estimated arrival time is 12 minutes. Are you able to stay on the line? Yes, but I'll be fine, thank you. We'll have units there shortly, Ms. Grace. I ended the call. The silence that followed was deafening. Then Diane screamed. Not words at first, just sound. Pure panic made audible. Dad, what are you doing? This is Mom. This is my mother. Your mother just called the cops on her own family, Tyler shouted back. Jasmine was crying harder now, not trying to hide it. Big, gulping sobs. I walked to where she stood and took her face in my hands. Baby, look at me. Look at Grandma. She focused on my face through tears. This isn't about you. You haven't done anything wrong. Do you understand? She nodded. I love you. I will always love you. But what your father said to me, how he's been treating me, that can't continue, okay? Okay, Grandma. Tyler was pacing now, running his hands through his hair. You can't do this. This is our home. We've lived here for 3 years. We have tenant rights, squatters' rights. I turned to him. Tyler, squatters' rights in California require 5 years of continuous occupancy. You've been here 3. You have no lease. You've paid no rent. You have no legal claim to this property whatsoever. His mouth opened and closed. How do you? I looked it up. Months ago, when I started to wonder how long temporary was going to last, Diane found her voice. Mom, please. We have nowhere to go. It's Saturday night. We have no money for a hotel. That's not my problem anymore, Diane. But I'm your daughter. Yes, you are. I looked at her. Really looked at her. And you sat there while your husband told me to go to my room. You said nothing when he called this his house. You've said nothing for 3 years while I disappeared in my own home. I didn't know he was going to, but you knew what he's been doing. You knew and you said nothing. You chose him over me. Every single time. She had no answer for that. Tyler's phone buzzed. He looked at it. It's Brandon. They're asking what the hell is going on. Tell them the truth, I said. Tell them you tried to take over a house that wasn't yours. This is unbelievable. He was typing furiously. Unfucking believable. You have about 10 minutes until the police arrive, I said calmly. I suggest you start packing. That broke through his shock. Diane, upstairs, now. Pack bags. We're not staying here with a crazy person anyway. They ran upstairs. I heard drawers slamming, things being thrown into bags. Tyler's voice. Just get essentials. We'll come back for the rest later. Jasmine stood in the living room, one small backpack already on her shoulders. She'd packed it while they were fighting. Smart girl. She walked to me slowly. Grandma, I'm sorry. Baby, you have nothing to apologize for. This isn't right. They shouldn't have treated you that way. No, they shouldn't have. But sometimes people need to face consequences to learn. I hugged her tight. I love you so much. Don't you ever forget that. I love you too. Footsteps on the stairs. Tyler and Diane, each carrying 2 hastily packed bags. Diane's eyes were red and swollen. Tyler's jaw was set, angry. Through the front window, I saw red and blue lights painting the evening sky. The police had arrived. 2 officers approached the house. The first was a Latino man in his 40s, name tag reading Rodriguez. The second was a black woman in her 30s, Taylor, on her badge. They knocked on my open door frame. Sacramento PD, someone called about a trespassing situation? Yes, officer, I did. I stepped forward, my driver's license already in my hand. I'm Monica Grace. This is my home. I've asked these individuals to leave, and they're refusing. Rodriguez took my license, examined it, handed it back. This address matches, and you own this property? Yes. One moment. I walked to my study, Marcus's old office, and opened the second drawer of the filing cabinet. The property deed was right where it always was, in a manila folder labeled 2847 Maple Grove Drive. I handed it to Officer Rodriguez. He studied it carefully. Property purchased April 1995. Sole owner, Monica Elaine Grace. He looked up. Is there a lease agreement with these individuals? No lease. They're family members who are staying temporarily. That arrangement has ended. Officer Taylor was looking at Tyler and Diane with professional assessment. Can you folks show us any documentation of legal residency, rental receipts, lease agreement? Tyler stepped forward. Officers, please. This is my mother-in-law. This is a family misunderstanding. We've lived here for 3 years. We have a right. Sir, do you pay rent? Rodriguez asked. No, but do you have a written agreement allowing you to live here? We're family. She invited us to stay. And now she's asking you to leave. Taylor's voice was gentle but firm. This is private property. The owner is asking you to vacate. Diane tried. Officers, we have nowhere to go. Our daughter is 15 years old. You can't just put us on the street. Ma'am, Taylor said, and I heard real sympathy in her voice. I understand this is difficult. But legally, this is Ms. Grace's property. She has the right to ask you to leave. Rodriguez looked at me. Ma'am, do you want these individuals removed from the property? This was it. The moment. The point of no return. I looked at Tyler, who'd called me old woman, and told me where I belonged. I looked at Diane, who'd chosen silence over defending her own mother. I looked at Jasmine, crying quietly, caught in the middle of something she didn't create. My heart broke for Jasmine, but my spine was steel. Yes, officer. I want them to leave. They don't have my permission to be here. Rodriguez nodded. Folks, you need to vacate the premises now. Take what you have with you. You can arrange to collect remaining belongings later through civil process. Tyler's face twisted with rage and humiliation. You'll regret this, Monica. We'll sue you. We'll take everything. You're going to lose, Mr. Sterling. Rodriguez's voice got harder. You need to leave now. Continuing to argue will only make this worse for you. Diane clutched her bags, mascara running in black tracks down her face. Mom, please. Please don't do this. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please. For a second, just a second, I almost wavered. Then I remembered. Be grateful we tolerate you. Goodbye, Diane. They walked past me. Tyler first, radiating fury. Diane next, crying. Jasmine last, looking back over her shoulder. I love you, baby, I called to Jasmine. I love you too, Grandma. Officer Taylor walked them to the street where their Honda was parked. They threw their bags in the trunk. Tyler slammed his door hard enough that I heard it from inside the house. The car pulled away. The police car's lights were still flashing, painting my living room in alternating red and blue. Ms. Grace, are you going to be safe tonight? Rodriguez asked. Do you think Mr. Sterling might return? I'm changing the locks first thing tomorrow. Good idea. If he comes back before then and causes trouble, call us immediately. Taylor handed me a card. Victim Services. If you need to talk to someone, or if you need help with a restraining order. Thank you, but I don't think that will be necessary. They left, the light show finally ending. And then I was alone. I stood in my living room, and looked around. Diane's purse was on the couch. She'd forgotten it in the chaos. Jasmine's homework was on the coffee table. Tyler's work boots were by the door. Evidence of their presence everywhere. But they were gone. The house was mine again. I walked to the front door and closed it. Locked it. Put the chain on. And then I stood there, leaning against the door, and started to shake. I didn't try right away. First I walked through the house like I was seeing it for the first time. Master bedroom. Diane and Tyler's clothes in the closet. Their toiletries in the bathroom. The bed unmade. Jasmine's room. Posters on the walls. Books on the shelves. A stuffed elephant on the bed I'd given her when she was 6. My room. Small, tidy, everything I owned compressed into one bedroom in a 3-bedroom house. The guest bathroom where Tyler had fixed one faucet 3 years ago. The kitchen where I'd cooked thousands of meals. The dining room where my family had just imploded. I stood at the table and looked at the abandoned dinner. Chicken getting cold. Mac and cheese congealing. Collard greens untouched. 10 plates, 10 napkins, 10 settings. All that work. All that food. All that love poured into a meal nobody ate. That's when I started crying. Not pretty crying. Ugly crying. The kind where you can't breathe and your whole body shakes and you make sounds you didn't know you could make. I cried for Marcus, who'd been gone 4 years and wasn't here to hold me. I cried for Diane, who'd chosen a man over her own mother. I cried for Jasmine, who'd been put in an impossible position. I cried for myself, for 3 years of being invisible, of being small, of disappearing in my own home. I cried until I was empty. Then I wiped my face, blew my nose, and got to work. I put all the food away. Threw out what couldn't be saved. Washed every dish, every glass, every fork. Put away my grandmother's china, careful with each piece. Wiped down the table. Folded the tablecloth. Put everything back in its place. It was 10:37 p.m. when I finally finished. I made myself a cup of tea, chamomile, the kind Marcus used to make me when I couldn't sleep, and sat on the back porch. My phone had been buzzing for hours. 11 missed calls from Diane, 4 voicemails, 6 text messages. I didn't listen to any of them. Instead, I called my best friend, Loretta Washington. We'd known each other since college, Howard University, 1980. She'd been my maid of honor, Jasmine's godmother, the sister I never had. She answered on the first ring. Monica, do you know what time it is? Loretta, I kicked them out. Silence. Then, say that again. I called the police and had them removed from my house. Girl, what? What happened? I told her everything. The dinner party, Tyler's words, the 911 call, the police, all of it. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. You should have done this 2 years ago, she said finally. I know. But I'm proud of you for doing it now. How do you feel? Terrified, relieved, heartbroken, powerful, I don't know. That sounds about right. Monica, listen to me. Are you listening? Yes. They're going to come at you. Tyler's not the type to accept defeat. He's going to try to fight this legally, emotionally, every way he can. I know. So you need to be ready. Get a lawyer. Like first thing Monday morning. My nephew James, remember him? He's a family lawyer now. Good one too. I'll text you his number. Okay. And Monica? Document everything. Every text, every call, every interaction, everything. I will. You did the right thing, baby. You know that, right? Did I? I wasn't sure. I hope so. After I hung up, I sat in the quiet darkness of my backyard. The jasmine was blooming. Marcus had planted it. And the scent filled the air, sweet and heavy. My phone buzzed again. Another voicemail from Diane. This time I listened. Mom, please call me back. We're in the car. We don't know where to go. The motels on Florin Road want $89 a night and we don't have that. Mom, please, I'm so sorry. Tyler's sorry. We'll apologize. We'll do better. Just please let us come back. It's Jasmine. Think about Jasmine. I deleted it. Then I blocked their numbers. Not forever, just for tonight. Tonight, I needed silence. I needed space. I needed to be alone in my house and remember what that felt like. I finished my tea and went inside. Locked every door. Checked every window. Stood in my living room and turned off all the lights, watching shadows settle into familiar corners. This was my house. Bought with Marcus in 1995. Loved and maintained for 29 years. Every memory, every moment, every inch of it was mine. Nobody was going to make me small here again. I went to bed in my room, the small one I'd been sleeping in for 3 years, and for the first time in a long time, I slept deeply. No footsteps overhead, no arguments through walls, no midnight bathroom trips from other people. Just silence. Just me. Just home. Sunday, July 15th. Morning. I woke up at 6:47 a.m. to sunlight streaming through my bedroom window. Not because someone was showering. Not because Tyler was slamming cabinet doors in the kitchen. Not because Diane's alarm was going off through the wall. Just sunlight and silence. I lay there for a moment, processing. Had last night really happened? Had I really called the police on my own daughter? My phone sat on the nightstand. I'd turned off the block feature before bed. Not ready to talk, but ready to see. 17 missed calls. 12 from Diane. 5 from numbers I didn't recognize. 9 voicemails. 23 text messages. I made coffee first. Marcus's old coffee maker, the one he'd bought in 2003 that still worked perfectly. Measured out the grounds, just enough for one person now. Waited for it to brew. While it dripped, I looked at my phone. The texts from Diane started desperate. Mom, please call me. We're at Motel 6 on Florin Road, $89 for tonight. We barely had it. Jasmine is crying. Please, Mom. Then angry. How could you do this to your own daughter? On a Saturday night with nowhere to go? Tyler was right about you. Then desperate again. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Please, can we talk? I'll do anything. The last one, sent at 3:47 a.m. I can't believe you blocked us. Your own family. I poured my coffee and sat at my kitchen table, all mine again, and called Loretta. You okay, baby? She answered immediately. Locksmith opens at 9 on Sundays. I'm getting all 3 doors changed. Good. How'd you sleep? Better than I have in 3 years. That's what I like to hear. Listen, I texted you James's number last night. Call him first thing Monday. I will. Loretta, they spent the night in a motel. Diane says Jasmine was crying. Silence on the other end. Then Sen. And how do you feel about that? Terrible. Like the worst grandmother in the world. Like I should call them right now and tell them to come home. But I remember Tyler's face when he said adults are talking. I remember Diane's silence. And I know if I let them back in, nothing will change. Then you have your answer. At 9 a.m., I called Sacramento Lock and Key. I need all exterior locks changed, today if possible. Emergency service. The man on the phone didn't even hesitate. We can be there by 10:30. 3 doors? Yes. Front door, back door, and side garage entrance. That'll be $450 for emergency Sunday service. Cash or card? Card is fine. See you at 10:30, ma'am. At 10:15, a white van pulled up. The locksmith was a young man, maybe 30, with kind eyes. Ms. Grace? That's me. He looked at the house, then at me. Nice place. How long you lived here? 29 years. My husband and I bought it in 1995. He nodded, started unloading tools. Let me guess. Family situation? How'd you know? I do 3-4 lock changes a week. Half of them are divorces. Other half are family disputes. He paused at the front door, old lock in hand. For what it's worth, ma'am, if you're changing the locks, you probably have a good reason. I do. By 11:30, every lock was changed. 3 new sets of keys, all brass and shiny and unused. Only I had copies. The locksmith handed them to me. You feel safer now? I do. Thank you. After he left, I walked through my house again. Really walked through it. Went into the master bedroom, the one Tyler and Diane had been using, and opened the closet. Most of their clothes were still there. Diane's dresses, Tyler's work shirts, shoes lined up on the floor. The bathroom still had Diane's makeup on the counter. Tyler's electric razor. 2 toothbrushes in the holder. I didn't touch anything. Not yet. That would come later, through lawyers and civil process, just like Officer Rodriguez had said. I went to Jasmine's room, sat on her bed with the stuffed elephant. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Hello? Mom? Diane's voice calling from someone else's phone. Please don't hang up. I should have hung up. Instead, I'm listening. Tyler's looking for work. Real work this time. We're going to get a place. We just need a little time. Maybe a week? 2 weeks? Could we just stay there until— No! Mom, please. Diane, I changed the locks. You're not coming back. Silence. Then crying. How can you be so cruel? Cruel? The word hit me wrong. I gave you 3 years. I gave you $73,000. I gave you my home, my food, my peace of mind. And your husband told me I should be grateful he tolerates me. In my own house. He didn't mean it like that. How did he mean it then? Explain it to me. She had no answer. Where's Tyler now? I asked. Looking for a motel that's cheaper. This one wants $89 a night. We can't afford that for more than a few days. Then I suggest you find jobs. Both of you. Fast. We will. We are. Mom, I'm so sorry. I should have said something last night. I should have defended you. I froze. You've been freezing for 3 years, Diane. More trying. I know, and I'm sorry. Can we please just talk about this, face to face? Not right now. I need space. When? I don't know. Goodbye, Diane. I hung up before she could respond. Monday, July 16th, 10 a.m. James Washington's law office was in a modern building downtown, not far from the Capitol. 15th floor, corner office with a view of the river. Loretta had texted me. He's young, but he's sharp. And he won't charge you family rates because I already told him not to. You pay full price, you get full service. James met me in the lobby. 35, I'd guess, wearing a sharp navy suit, close-cropped hair, warm handshake. Ms. Grace, Aunt Loretta told me a little bit, but I'd like to hear the full story from you. We sat in his conference room. I brought my notebook, the one where I'd been documenting expenses for months. I told him everything. The dinner party, the eviction, the 3 years before. As I talked, he took notes on a yellow legal pad, occasionally asking questions. And you have documentation of the money you gave them? I slid the notebook across the table. Every dollar. Bank statements, canceled checks, receipts. He flipped through it, eyebrows rising. Ms. Grace, this is extremely thorough. I worked in insurance for 30 years. Documentation was my job. These checks to Tyler. $35,000 in September 2021, $12,000 in March 2023, $8,000 in May 2023, $6,000 in June 2023. Did he ever sign a promissory note? No. He promised verbally to pay me back within 2 years. I didn't ask for anything in writing. He's family. James sat back. Okay, here's the situation legally. You did everything correctly Saturday night. They have no lease, they paid no rent, and you gave them clear notice to leave. The police documentation helps tremendously. But they're going to sue you. Probably claim tenant rights or adverse possession. Can they win? No, adverse possession in California requires 5 years minimum of continuous, open, and hostile occupation. They were there 3 years and it wasn't hostile. You invited them. But weak cases get filed every day. He pulled up something on his laptop. Before you came in, I did a preliminary background check on Tyler Sterling. Just public records. And? Did you know he receives VA disability payments? My stomach dropped. What? James turned his screen toward me. Tyler Michael Sterling. Service-connected disability rating of 70%. Monthly payment of $1,823.81. He's been receiving it since November 2019. I did the math in my head. November 2019 to July 2024. That's 57 months. 57 times $1,823.81. That's over $103,000, I said quietly. $103,957.17 to be exact. James looked at me carefully. Did you know about this income? No, he said they had no money, that they were completely broke. That's why I gave them. I couldn't finish the sentence. James leaned forward. Miss Grace, this changes everything. Tyler represented himself as having no income. You gave him money based on that representation. That's fraud. Potentially criminal fraud. But he was my son-in-law. He wouldn't. The evidence suggests otherwise. James closed his laptop. Here's what I recommend. We file a civil complaint against both of them for repayment of the $73,000, plus punitive damages for fraud and unjust enrichment. Both of them? Even Diane? They were married, living together. Filing jointly in some cases. Legally, yes, both. I thought about my daughter, about Jasmine. What if Diane didn't know about the VA money? Then she'll need to prove that. But regardless, they both benefited from your money. I was quiet for a long moment. How much do you charge? My standard rate is $350 per hour. For a case like this, I'd estimate 30 to 40 hours of work. Retainer of $10,000. I pulled out my checkbook, wrote the check, slid it across the table. James looked at it, then at me. You don't want to think about it? I've been thinking about it for 3 years. File everything. I want my money back, and I want them to understand there are consequences. 3 weeks later, the lawsuit hadn't come yet, but I knew it would. James had said Tyler's type always struck first, trying to control the narrative. In the meantime, I'd settled into my house being mine again. Cleaned out their rooms, boxed their belongings. Had everything ready for them to pick up. With a sheriff's escort, James advised. My phone rang at 3:15 p.m., Jasmine's number. Grandma? Her voice was small. Hey baby, how are you? Can I see you, please, just me? Of course, where? Gunther's, like we used to? Gunther's ice cream was our special place. I'll be there in 20 minutes. She was waiting at an outdoor table when I arrived, 15 years old but looking older, tired. She stood and hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. I missed you, Grandma. I missed you too, baby. So much. We sat. I bought her a cone, mint chip, her favorite, and myself a coffee. How's your mom? I asked. Stressed, working at Target now, 25 hours a week. Dad's doing day labor when he can find it. Where are you living? An apartment in Del Paso Heights, 2 bedrooms, She trailed off. It's not nice, Grandma. There's mold in the bathroom. The stove doesn't work right. Mom cries a lot. My heart hurt. And how are you? I'm okay. School starts in 3 weeks. I don't know if we can afford my supplies yet. I pulled out my wallet. Here, $200 for school supplies. Don't tell your parents. Grandma, take it. This is between you and me. She took the money, tears in her eyes. Thank you. Jasmine, I need to ask you something. Did you know your dad was getting money from the VA, disability payments? Her eyes widened. What? No. Dad said his disability claim was denied, that he got nothing. Are you sure your mom didn't know? I don't think so. She found out about something with money last week. I heard them fighting. She was screaming at him about lying, about hiding income. She said something like, "You've been getting checks this whole time while my mother paid for everything?" So Diane really hadn't known. She'd been lied to, too. That changed things. Not everything, but something. Grandma, Mom wants to apologize. Can she call you? Soon. Not yet. I'm still processing everything. Dad's mad at you. He says you're going to pay for what you did. What does that mean? I don't know. He talks to this lawyer on the phone, some woman. He says he's going to sue you for everything you have. Let him try. We talked for another hour. About school, about her friends, about normal teenage things. Before she left, I hugged her again. Jasmine, if you ever feel unsafe with your dad or anyone, you call me immediately, okay? Okay, Grandma. I love you. I love you too, baby. Monday, August 19th. The process server arrived at 4:30 p.m. Legal envelope. Thick. Official. Sterling and Sterling versus Monica Elaine Grace. Civil complaint filed in Sacramento County Superior Court. I called James immediately. It came. I'll be right over. He arrived 30 minutes later, read through the filing while I made coffee. He looked up at me. Ms. Grace, this is one of the weakest complaints I've ever seen. Their lawyer must be desperate. What are they claiming? Constructive ownership based on 3 years of residency, improvements made to the property, unjust eviction. They're seeking $150,000 in damages plus partial ownership of your home. Can they win? Absolutely not. But here's the interesting part. James flipped to the last page. Their attorney is Linda Patterson. I looked her up. She graduated law school 8 years ago. Win rate of about 19%. She takes cases other lawyers won't touch because clients can't afford better. So Tyler couldn't afford a good lawyer. Exactly. Which tells me they're already in financial trouble. James pulled out his laptop. Now we file our countercomplaint. And Ms. Grace, we're going for everything. He showed me the draft. Monica Elaine Grace versus Tyler Sterling and Diane Sterling. Claims fraud, unjust enrichment, breach of oral contract, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Amount $73,000 in documented loans and expenses, plus $25,000 in punitive damages. Total, $98,000. We're suing Diane too? My voice was quiet. They sued you jointly. We respond jointly. If Diane wants to separate her case, she can file separately. But based on your conversation with Jasmine, Diane might not want to fight this. I thought about my daughter, about her being lied to, about her being victimized by Tyler too. But I also thought about her silence at that dinner table. File it. September. James's investigation uncovered more than I'd expected. First, Tyler's full VA records. Not just the disability payments, but bank statements showing exactly where that money went. Gambling, $847 at Thunder Valley Casino in February 2023, $1,243 in March, $621 in April. Bars, $200 to $400 per month at various Sacramento bars. Personal purchases, a new fishing rod for $340, concert tickets for $280, a leather jacket for $425, while I was buying groceries and paying utilities. Then James found the real bombshell. Ms. Grace, Tyler was married before, did you know that? Before Diane? No. Married to Jennifer Patterson from 2008 to 2014. Divorce records are public. He slid a document across his desk. Look at the grounds for divorce. I read. Respondent demonstrated pattern of financial abuse and manipulation. Respondent resided with petitioner's mother, rent-free from 2011 to 2013, contributing nothing to household while representing himself as financially unable to contribute. Upon discovery of hidden income sources, petitioner's mother forced respondent to vacate property. He did this before, I said slowly. Yes, this is his pattern. Move in with sympathetic family members, claim poverty, take advantage, get kicked out when discovered. Does Diane know about this? I don't know, but she's about to find out. This goes into our evidence file. The trial date was set. September 15, 2025. 1 year and 2 months since that dinner party. 1 year of my life back. 1 year of them struggling with consequences. And one final day in court to settle everything. I dressed carefully that morning. Navy blue dress. Pearl earrings Marcus had given me for our 20th anniversary. Low heels. Professional, but not flashy. James met me in the lobby. Ready? Ready. The courtroom was smaller than I'd expected. Wood paneling, California state seal above the bench, maybe 20 seats for observers. Tyler sat at the plaintiff's table with Linda Patterson. He'd lost weight, looked older. Diane sat next to him, but there was space between them. Body language that screamed tension. Jasmine wasn't there. James had advised she shouldn't attend. All rise. Department 28 now in session. Honorable Patricia Mitchell presiding. Judge Mitchell was a black woman in her 60s, gray hair in a neat bun, reading glasses on a chain. She took the bench and reviewed the file. Good morning. Case number 34-2024-00289457, Sterling and Sterling versus Grace, with related countercomplaint. I've reviewed both pleadings. She looked at Linda Patterson. Ms. Patterson, your clients are claiming what exactly? Linda stood, fumbling with papers. Your Honor, my clients resided at the defendant's property for 36 months. They established adverse possession through continuous occupancy and made substantial improvements to the property. Judge Mitchell didn't look up from the file. Adverse possession in California requires 5 years minimum. Your clients lived there 3. Explain the discrepancy. Well, Your Honor, there's also the matter of constructive ownership through improvements. What improvements? I see no documentation of contractor work, no receipts for materials, no permits pulled. Testimonial evidence, Your Honor. My clients will testify to various repairs and maintenance. Ms. Patterson. Judge Mitchell removed her glasses. Testimony alone doesn't establish ownership. Do you have receipts, bank statements showing purchases, anything concrete? Linda shuffled papers. Not at this time, Your Honor, but then your adverse possession claim fails. What else? Unjust eviction, Your Honor. The defendant called police without proper notice. She gave notice. They refused to leave. She called police. That's proper procedure. Next argument? Linda had nothing. Judge Mitchell turned to James. Mr. Washington? James stood, calm and prepared. Connected his laptop to the courtroom display. Your Honor, I have comprehensive documentation. Bank statements showing Ms. Grace paid every household expense for 36 months. The screen filled with bank statements, numbers highlighted in yellow. Checks totaling $73,000 written to Tyler Sterling. Images of the actual checks, front and back. Email from September 2021 where Mr. Sterling promises, We'll pay you back within 2 years, every cent. The email projected on screen. Text message from Diane Sterling, November 2022. Thank you for letting us stay in your house, Mom. The text, enlarged, undeniable. And most importantly, Your Honor. James pulled up new documents. VA records showing Mr. Sterling received $1,823.81 per month in disability payments from November 2019 through present. Total received while living with Ms. Grace, $103,957.17. Tyler's face went white. Diane's head snapped toward him. What? Her voice carried across the courtroom. Judge Mitchell looked at Tyler. Mr. Sterling, is this accurate? You received over $100,000 in VA disability while representing yourself as having no income? Linda stood. Your Honor, my client's VA benefits are his private. Answer the question, Mr. Sterling. Tyler stood slowly. Yes, but I have PTSD. That money was for medical expenses. According to bank records, James interjected, Mr. Sterling spent an average of $800 per month at Thunder Valley Casino and various bars while Ms. Grace paid for groceries, utilities, and his family's living expenses. Diane stood up, not to speak, just stood, hands over her mouth, shaking. Judge Mitchell's expression hardened. Sit down, Ms. Sterling. We'll address you in a moment. James continued. Furthermore, Your Honor, we've uncovered a pattern. Mr. Sterling was previously married to Jennifer Patterson. His divorce records from 2014 cite financial abuse and manipulation, specifically living with his ex-wife's mother rent-free while hiding income. He projected the divorce decree on screen. This is his pattern, Your Honor, and Ms. Grace is his second victim. The courtroom was silent. Judge Mitchell reviewed documents for a full 3 minutes, then she removed her glasses. I've seen enough. Ms. Patterson, your client's complaint is dismissed with prejudice. The claims are not only without merit, they're frankly frivolous. Linda tried once more. Your Honor, if we could have an extension to gather additional evidence, with prejudice means final, Ms. Patterson, it's over. Tyler started to stand. Sit down, Mr. Sterling, or I'll hold you in contempt. He sat. Judge Mitchell turned to the counter-complaint. As to Miss Grace's claims, the evidence is overwhelming. Judgment for plaintiff Monica Grace in the amount of $73,000 for documented expenses. She paused. Additionally, I'm awarding $25,000 in punitive damages for fraud and unjust enrichment. Total judgment, $98,000. Diane was crying now. Silent tears. Payment terms. Defendants shall pay $750 per month, split between them however they choose, until paid in full. That's 130 months, just under 11 years. Joint and several liability. If one defaults, the other pays the full amount. Tyler stood again. Your Honor, we can't afford. You should have thought of that before you spent your VA disability at casinos, Mr. Sterling. I'm also awarding Miss Grace her court costs of $8,000. She looked at both defendants. Let me be clear. You lived in Miss Grace's home for 3 years. You paid nothing. You contributed nothing. You lied about your financial situation. And when you got caught, you sued her. This judgment stands. Use the next 11 years to learn something about gratitude and honesty. Court is adjourned. The gavel came down. In the hallway outside, Tyler was raging at Linda Patterson. You said we'd win. You said you lied to me about the VA income. If I'd known, forget it. You're fired. Tyler stormed toward the elevator. Diane stood alone, crying. I approached her slowly. James stayed back, giving us space. Mom, her voice broke. I didn't know about the VA money, about the gambling, about any of it. I swear to you, I didn't know. I believe you. Her head snapped up. You do? Jasmine told me about the fight you had when you found out. James's investigation confirmed it. Tyler lied to both of us. I'm so sorry. For everything. For not defending you. For letting him treat you that way. I was scared and stupid and... Are you divorcing him? I filed papers last week. I can't be married to someone who would do this. To you, to me, to us. I took a breath. Diane, I forgive you. She sobbed. You do? But forgiveness doesn't mean erasing consequences. You'll make your payments. All of them. For however long it takes. I know, I will. Mom, I just want you to know. I see it now. I see what I lost. My integrity. my mother, myself. Then use these next 11 years to find those things again. We didn't hug. Not yet. But there was understanding between us. Tyler appeared from around the corner, face purple with rage. He took 2 steps toward me. James moved between us instantly. Mr. Sterling, walk away. This is your fault, Tyler pointed at me. You destroyed my life. I looked at him calmly. No, Tyler. You destroyed your own life. I just stopped letting you destroy mine. Security was approaching. Tyler jabbed his finger at me one more time. This isn't over. Yes, I said quietly. It is. 6 months later, spring came early to Sacramento that year. I sat on my back porch with my morning coffee, watching the jasmine bloom. Marcus's jasmine. Still sweet after all these years. The house was different now. Mine in a way it hadn't been before. I'd repainted the living room, a warm yellow that made mornings brighter. Replaced the couch. Hung new pictures. Made it mine again. Jasmine had moved in with me full-time 3 months ago. Diane had agreed it was best. She was working full-time now as an office manager, sharing a small apartment with a coworker. Paying $400 a month toward the judgment. Slowly, painfully rebuilding her life. Tyler paid $350 a month when he paid. He'd moved to Arizona, living with his mother. Doing construction work when he could find it. We barely heard from him. That was fine with me. Jasmine came out onto the porch, still in pajamas. Morning, Grandma. Morning, baby. Sleep okay? Yeah, I'm making pancakes. Want some? I'd love some. She went back inside and I heard her humming in the kitchen. Happy sounds. Home sounds. My phone buzzed. Text from Diane. Payment sent. $400. Receipt attached. Hope you and Jasmine have a good week. Love you, Mom. I texted back. Received. Thank you. Love you too. Small steps, slow trust. But we were building something new, something honest. Loretta came over for Sunday dinner every week now. James, who'd started dating Loretta after the trial, which delighted me, joined us sometimes. We'd sit at my table, eat my cooking, laugh and talk like family should. Real family. Chosen family. Family built on respect, not obligation. One evening in late March, Diane asked if she could visit for dinner. Supervised at first, James had advised. Make sure everyone's comfortable. She arrived at 6 p.m. with flowers. Daisy's my favorite. Hi, Mom. Hi, baby. Come in. We ate together. Me, Diane, Jasmine, Loretta. 4 generations of strong women. Loretta was chosen family, which counted. Diane helped with dishes. Genuinely helped, not going through motions. We stood side by side at the sink, just like old times. Mom, can I ask you something? Of course. Do you think we'll ever be okay again? Really okay? I dried a plate, thought about it. I think we're getting there. But Diane, it's not going to be the same as before. It's going to be different. Different how? Before I tried to be everything for you. Let you take from me without boundaries. That wasn't healthy for either of us. I looked at her. This time we build something with boundaries. With respect. With honesty. I can do that? I know you can. You're already doing it. She hugged me then. A real hug. The first real hug in years. 2 weeks later I was in my garden when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me. Hello? Miss Grace? This is Keisha, Deshawn's wife, from the dinner party last year. I remembered her. The kind one who'd touched my arm as she left. Keisha, how are you? I'm good. Listen, I hope this isn't weird, but I got your number from Diane. I'd been thinking about what happened that night. And I wanted to apologize. Apologize for what? For not speaking up. For sitting there while Tyler said those terrible things to you. I should have said something. Done something. You left when I asked everyone to leave. That was enough. Still, it's bothered me. You were so calm and strong and I admired that. I'm calling because I'm dealing with something similar with my mother-in-law. She moved in with us 6 months ago, and my husband is starting to treat her like Tyler treated you, and I don't know what to do. I sat down on my porch steps. Tell me what's happening. We talked for an hour. I told her about boundaries, about documentation, about knowing your worth, about the difference between being kind and being a doormat. Thank you, she said when we were done. You have no idea how much this helps. Anytime. You call me if you need to talk, okay? Okay, thank you, Ms. Grace. After we hung up, I sat in my garden thinking, maybe something good had come from all of this after all. Maybe my story could help someone else find their voice. 1 year later, Jasmine's 16th birthday fell on a Saturday. We had a party in the backyard, small, just family and close friends. Loretta and James brought a cake. Diane came with presents. A few of Jasmine's school friends. Mrs. Chen from next door. We sang happy birthday. Jasmine blew out her candles, face glowing with joy. Later, after everyone had gone home and it was just Jasmine and me cleaning up, she said, "Grandma, thank you." "For what, baby?" "For showing me what it looks like to stand up for yourself. To have self-respect." I was thinking about that day, the dinner party. I was so scared. But you weren't. Oh, I was terrified. You were? Of course. But being brave doesn't mean not being scared. It means being scared and doing the right thing anyway. She hugged me. "I want to be like you when I grow up." "You're already like me. Strong, smart, and too stubborn for your own good." We laughed together. That night I sat on my back porch one more time. The jasmine was blooming again, just like it did every spring. Constant, faithful, beautiful. I thought about everything that had happened. The dinner party, the eviction, the trial, the year of rebuilding. I'd lost some things. 3 years of my life. Money I'd probably never fully recover. The relationship I'd thought I had with my daughter. But I'd gained more. My home, my dignity, my voice. The knowledge that at 63 years old, I was strong enough to stand up for myself. Smart enough to document everything. Brave enough to call 911 when I needed to. I'd learned that family doesn't mean tolerating abuse. That forgiveness can coexist with boundaries. That sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is let them face consequences. Most importantly, I'd learned that I was never too old to reclaim my life. Marcus's voice came to me one more time, clear and warm. "Never let anyone make you small in your own home, Monica." "I won't, Beatty," I whispered to the night. Never again. I finished my tea, went inside my house, and locked the door. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. Diane's next payment, Jasmine's school year, life's normal complications. But tonight, I had peace. And that, I'd learned, was worth everything. 5 years later, if you're wondering what happened to everyone, Tyler stayed in Arizona. He pays his portion of the judgment sporadically. I've hired a collection agency. We have no contact. Diane finished paying her portion in April 2035, exactly 11 years. She's now an office manager making decent money, has her own apartment, and we have dinner together twice a month. Our relationship will never be what it was, but it's honest. That's enough. Jasmine graduated high school with honors, got a full scholarship to Howard University, Loretta's influence, and wants to be a lawyer like James. She still calls me every Sunday. Still lives with me during summers. Me? I'm 68 now, still in my house, still making cornbread from Grandma Essie's recipe, still tending Marcus's jasmine. And I've started teaching a class at the community center. Financial literacy for seniors. Teaching other older folks how to protect themselves, how to document, how to set boundaries, how to never ever become invisible in their own homes. Because everyone deserves to be seen. Everyone deserves to be respected. And everyone deserves to know their worth. I'm Monica Elaine Grace. This was my story, and I'm still standing.